Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of 12 November 2020. It's Thursday night, 9 o'clock. Time for a knife sale on the Apostle P channel. And that is exactly what we have for you this evening. It is a very cool array of cutlery. It goes from low priced to pretty high priced. It goes from traditional to modern. It spans the entire globe in origin of manufacture. It's going to be fun, and the prices are right. A great opportunity for some early Christmas shopping tonight. We have 31 knives total in 30 sale lots. Before we get into that, a little bit of housekeeping. If you are new to this weekly sales event, I'm going to post on the screen for you in just a moment the terms of the sale. You need to be familiar with and agreeable to those if you're going to attempt to purchase a knife. And I will also reprint them in the description underneath this video so you can peruse them at your leisure. Also in the description above the terms of the sale, you'll find 3 links to prior videos. The first is to my Primer for Buyers video. That's a 38-minute expanded explanation of the terms of the sale. A good piece of viewing, again, if you are a new buyer. The second link is to my FAQs for Consignors video. That is useful to you if you're interested in moving some of your collection along using this weekly sales event. And then the third link, as always, is to my rates and services video for the TheApostleP Knife Service, the original precision sharpening service for the online knife community. And if you need some knives sharpened, backlog is pretty low right now, just over 2 weeks. So check that one out too. And let's see, you got those 3 links, you got the terms of the sale, and then below all that, you have the list of inventory in tonight's sale, complete with timestamps and pricing. Regarding the pricing, the number to the left of the slash is your as shown price, the number to the right, your as sharpened price. And if you buy a knife to be sharpened, if you're one of the first 6, it'll be done tomorrow, Friday the 13th, and it will ship with all of the as shown inventory. If you're outside that first 6, expect your knife to ship in about 3 weeks. If you see the word sold in lieu of pricing for a given knife, that means it has been bought and paid for by its new owner. No need to send an email about that. I think that's about it for housekeeping. Let's get the terms up on the screen for you, and we'll be right back with the sale inventory. Here are the terms. All right, let's get to it, shall we? First up, we have but one leftover from last week. This one from Kizer Knives. And this one's going to come in that really cool sleeved clamshell box with the document pouch and internal pouch and all that stuff. Yeah. Nice packaging from Kizer. See if I can get it all back together. There we go. Inside that box resides the Kizer KI4508 Critical, designed by Matthew Christensen. Here is the knife. Pretty standard up-level Kizer stuff here. Titanium frame lock knife, beautifully bead blasted. Titanium handle, chamfered holes on both sides, blue titanium backspacer and milled clip, blue aluminum pivot collars. I'll be flipping everything left-handed tonight because I had a nasty little blood blister on my right index finger. There's your flipping action. There is your beautiful stonewashed blade, an S35VN. That's 3 5/8 inches of sheep's foot goodness, backed up by a, oh gosh, what, 4 3/4-ish handle. Steel inserted titanium frame lock, ball bearing flipper. Lockup is rock solid. There's your engagement. Blade centering is beauteous. It might favor, does it favor the right just ever so slightly? You could probably loosen that that pivot just a little bit to straighten it up. Condition is near mint in box. I really can't find a mark on it. Let's see, web pricing on this knife, if you're going to buy a new one, is $203. We ran this one last week for $145, no takers. Dropped it on Saturday to $130, still here. This week, somebody gets a deal, $120 on the Kizer Critical. $140 if you'd like an Apostle P edge on it, which can be done tomorrow, and shipped out if it's one of the first 6 sharpened knives purchased tonight. What a beauty. Next up, the first of our fresh inventory. This one comes to us from Fox Knives, Maniago, Italy. This is the Fox TUR, capital T, capital U, capital R. A pretty sweet little gents folder. Beautifully crowned carbon fiber scales, titanium backspacer, titanium milled pocket clip. This is a knife that runs on washers with thumb studs. Blade steel is L-Max. The blade length is 2 7/8. Kind of a chunky bit of L-Max there. Probably, what, 5/32, 150 thousandths-ish. Liner lock is your mechanism. Nice early engagement, rock solid lockup. Centering looks to be right down the middle. Now this knife has been a bit of a user. It has been sharpened, it has been used. You'll see some little scratches in the blade. And it could, it's got a serviceable edge, but I'm going to offer you an as sharpened price just to clean it up, get you a nice fresh apex as well. Blade length is 2 7/8, handle is 4 1/16. Just a super sweet little knife in hand. You can buy these new. I think they're in stock at a couple different web retailers for $224. This one can be yours for $150. $150, then $175 with a fresh Apostle P edge. Next day sharpening is available if it's one of the first 6. That's the Fox Knives TUR CF in your inventory. Next up, from a little company known as Three Rivers Manufacturing, division of Halpern Titanium. Inside the box comes what? The TRM BT1000 CF in carbon fiber. That is BT for Bob Terzuola. This, guys, is such a cool knife. And it's kind of like unobtainium. You do not see these knives come up for sale very often. They are not currently in production or in stock. Let's look at that handle. That's 4 3/4 inch of beautifully machined 6AL4V titanium. And then on the show side, we have beautiful milled carbon fiber. Spring clip tip up. I believe that's going to be right hand only. You have the trademark Terzuola thumb disc. And look at that, would ya? A beautiful drop point blade with a long fuller, gorgeous, graceful swedge, saber ground with a deeply stamped Terzuola maker's mark. On the back side, you have the Three Rivers maker's mark. The knife does run on ball bearings. Blade length is 3 5/8 inches, a gorgeous stonewash. There's your lock engagement on the titanium frame lock. It's rock solid. Blade centering is beautiful. And this is rocking a polished edge, and I think the owner applied this. I don't think I sharpened this for him. Of course, the Terzuola geometry on a tactical folder is kind of wedgy, so it's probably sharpened at about 21 degrees per side, I would imagine. Just beautiful. I'm not going to offer a sharpened price on this knife because that edge is pretty squared away. Your price... tough to find a reference, guys. They don't sell very often. The last one I could find that sold was at Arizona Custom Knives for $350. There was one dealer that had one, and the price was ridiculously high. I'm not even going to include that, but this one can be yours in box, near mint, and the only reason not like new is because of that better than factory edge. Your price on this one's going to be $330 for the Three Rivers Manufacturing Terzuola BT 1000 CF. Next up, the first of our smattering of Spyderco knives. This is from the Taichung facility, and the knife is the Brad Southard designed Positron flipper. So beautiful. 3D machine, crowned, polished G10 handle in orange. Gorgeous little low profile flipper. Knife runs on ball bearings. The blade steel is S35VN. And this does have a polished edge from the owner. I don't know if the camera's picking this up, but it's not perfect. There are some areas of no cleanup in that polish. So I am going to offer you an as sharpened price, but the knife is sharp, just so you know. There is your lock engagement. There is your blade centering. Looks to be beautiful. Flipping action's great. Lockup is rock solid. We'll call this one near mint in box. This Positron can be yours for $120, and then $140 with an ApostleP edge. Not saying it really needs it. That's the Spyderco Positron OR in your inventory. Next up, here's one that you just don't see very often from Spyderco. Wrong end. This is the Perrin PPT CF. It does come with the factory installed paracord lanyard that is not installed in the knife. And here is the PPT. Beautiful modified anso pattern carbon fiber scales over what I'm calling a titanium frame lock because it's so beefy. Inside that gorgeous handle comes this, that beautiful Perrin clip in CPM S90V steel. Blade length is 3 3/16. The handle is 4 1/4. And it just gives you so many grip options. That's what I like about the PPT. This has been sharpened by its owner. And let's see. Again, it's pretty sharp, but it gets a little wonky at the base of the edge. So if appearances are that important to you, you might want to have me sharpen it. But it's got a really vicious cutting edge just like it is. There is your lock engagement. Pretty standard Taichung carburized lock engagement. It's rock solid. A little bit of hydraulic stick, just the kind that you like. Blade centering is beautiful. It's a, it's an on-washer knife, not really designed to be a flicker, so the action's really good, but not, not fidget spinner good. Condition's going to be near mint in box. That handle, by the way, is 4 1/4, backing up that 3 3/16 inches blade. This was, I think, a sprint run, and it's gone, long discontinued. Let's see. They were $227 when they were new, but I don't think this is a crazy secondary market sprint run, so we're going to offer this one for $195, and then $220 if you'd like an Apostle P edge on it. Next day sharpening is available if it's one of the first 6. That's in your inventory as Sparren PPT Sprint CF S90V. Next up, man, this knife is a freaking unicorn. I don't know who offered this knife for sale, what retailer, but on Spyderco's website it was listed as an exclusive version of the Spyderco Military. This is a titanium frame lock milli with a carbon fiber scale. Yeah. And that is that textured peel ply carbon fiber. Blasted titanium frame. Of course, as with all militaries, tip down, right hand only, unless you buy a left-handed G10 model. The blade is S90V. Now the blade is in very good shape. It does have a user-applied polished edge, but as you can see, he didn't quite get it cleaned up. And the knife is very slightly tipped. Don't know if the camera's picking that up well or not, but it is. Just ever so slightly. Other than that, super nice knife. There is your lock engagement. That's the steel inserted titanium frame lock. Rock solid. Beautiful centering. Nice action. Nearly a free dropper. We're calling this one excellent to near mint, and the reason I say excellent to near mint is because of that very slight tip damage. This knife is unobtainium. There were a few completed listings on eBay. They ranged between $240 for kind of a beat to heck dog, up to $495 somebody paid for one of these on eBay. That was a completed sold listing. This one can be yours for $260. $260, then $285 with an Apostle P edge, and if you do that, I will give you a nice pointy military tip. Okay, that is the Spyderco Military TICF S90V. $260 like it is, $285 sharpened, next day sharpening available if it's one of the first 6. Next up, another from Spyderco and also from Golden, Colorado, USA Earth. It's a paramilitary 2 in red. That's the DLT exclusive red G10 Para 2 with the M390 blade. It does have a user applied polished edge. It's pretty good. Again, just with a little bit of a cosmetic, no cleanup at the base of the edge, but pretty darn good edge. Lockup is rock solid. Free dropping blade. Great action. Blade centering, very nice. Got some carry scratches on the clip. We're going to call this one excellent to near mint in box. Your price, $180, $180 like it is, $205 with a fresh edge. From the Apostle P Knife Service, next day sharpening available if it's one of the first 6. $180 like it is, $205 sharpen on the Spyderco Para 2 red M390. Next up, what do we have here? We have that special Spyderco pouch, small variety. It houses, man, why don't I own one of these? This is a Spyderco Chaparral with the milled titanium handle. And the camera will not do that handle justice. It is absolutely a work of art. Mid-lock lockback, deep carry paperclip clip. Blade skinny, what is that, 83 thousandths, I think, of CTS XHP. Now, I think this has been just touched up by its owner. You could probably have a more vicious edge if you want. Lockup is rock solid. Action is super smooth and light, just beautiful. Centering is right down the middle. Condition definitely near mint in box. Really couldn't find a mark on it. Let's see how our fitment is. Get the lock bar just slightly prouded open, very slightly, so it'll probably settle in as it ages. Beautiful example. Near mint in box. Let's see. I found completed listings on eBay for this discontinued knife that ran between $179 and $215. Hard to tell what kind of shape they were in this one. A beautiful example can be yours for $180 and $200 if you'd like it with an edge from the TheApostleP Knife Service. Next day sharpening is available on this one if it's one of the first 6 knives purchased to be sharpened this week. That's the Spyderco Chaparral TI. Next up, from Hinderer Knives made in the USA, we have an XM18 3.5-inch M390 Spanto no choil tri-way stonewash bronze in a flat dark earth G10 scale. I don't even need to show you the knife after that label, but look at that thing of beauty, would ya? There's your flat dark earth G10, bright hardware on the show side, but when we turn it over and look at that bronze anodized stonewash titanium, we do have some bronze hardware, the clip, the fill tab. Bearings installed on this tri-way pivot. Flipping action is stupendous. Beautiful stonewash blade. This knife, guys, with perfect lockup, perfect flipping action, perfect centering, is like new in the box. Like new in the box. It can be yours for $350, $350 like it is. $375 with an TheApostleP Edge next day sharpening is available if it's one of the first 6. That's in your inventory as Hinderer XM18 3.5-inch Spanto. Next up, we're going to Idaho. Reeve Knives. The knife inside this beautiful box is a small Inkosi with natural canvas micarta inlays and a Tanto blade. The birth card says this one was produced February 25th of 2020. How about that? And guys, this knife has been in the box its whole life. It is absolutely like new. Look at that natural canvas. It is screaming with character. Lanyard still installed. My right index finger is so messed up. Action is super sweet on this one. It's hard to convey, but it's very smooth. And look at that gorgeous little working blade. I really could not find a mark on it. There is your lockup with the ceramic ball lock interface. Is it rock solid? Of course it is. There is your beautiful centering. Yep. Like new, in the box. I think these are out of stock. If you could find one in stock, it would be $475 for a brand new one. Or you can just buy this one, like new, in the box, perfect example. Shipped to you, Priority Mail, for $395, $395, $420 with an TheApostleP Edge next day sharpening available if it's one of the first 6. That is the Reeve Small Inkosi Tanto Net Can. Can you guys hear my stomach growling? Oh my goodness. Next up, another one from Reeve Knives. This one, a large Inkosi with black canvas micarta inlay. Birth card says this one was produced May 29th of 2019. And again, we have another absolutely beautiful example of an Inkosi. barely used. I'm not going to call it like new because it looks like the clip might have rubbed something. There's just like a little brighter area right here, but it's not really a scratch. I don't, maybe it wasn't. I'm going to call it near mint, but there's your blade. Oh, love the blade shape on the Inkosi. Double studs, of course. There's your lock engagement with the ceramic ball. And again, super smooth. This one might even, it doesn't quite want to drop. Centering's beautiful. Got a little shadow, but it's beautiful. So, we're going to classify this one near mint, in box, almost like new. Again, this is out of stock currently in this configuration. MAP pricing, or the only retail price on this knife, would have been $550. This one can be yours, shipped to you, priority mail, $425. That's $425. Then $450 if you like an ApostleP Edge on this one. That's the Chris Reeve large Inkosi BK can in your inventory. Next up, we ran one of these a few weeks ago and it lasted about 2 minutes. From Victorinox, we have a DLT Cadet. Yes, we do. In that sort of deep royal blue. And I mentioned this when we sold the last one. They did an annual color of a Victorinox, not a DLT exclusive, in 2015 that was like a dark indigo blue. This is a lighter blue. There is your main spear point blade. The show side is blank, but we have DLT etched on the pile side. Condition on this one is absolutely like new in the box, and this should have the new style fingernail tool. It does, where the file goes all the way to the edge. I much prefer that over the old one. So like new in box, they're gone. You can't buy a new one. But we're offering this one for $50, 50, 65 if you'd like it to show up with an ApostleP Edge, and next day sharpening is available if it's one of the first 6. That's the Victorinox Cadet Blue DLT. Next up, here's an interesting little package. I said there were 31 knives and 30 sale lots. Check it. From Knives of Alaska, in a beautifully made leather sheath that can, it looks like it can go full width vertical dangle, or it can go cross draw with this canted belt loop system. Beautiful snaps. The small blade is going to be the Knives of Alaska Cub Bear. Almost has a little sharp finger thing going on. D2 steel, bead blasted. They do a pretty nice factory edge. It's a little strange looking, but it's pretty sharp. Stag handle. Now let's see measurements on this. The blade's 3 3/8, but that's back to the handle, so it's really under 3 inches in functional blade. And the handle is 3 1/4. Along with the Cub Bear, you get the main blade in this package, the Alpha Wolf, also bead blasted D2, with a 3 13/16 inch blade. This looks like it might have been worked on by the owner a little bit. Also stag handle. Look at that. Finger groove knife. Pretty nice little package, don't you think? So this right now in this configuration is sold out. They're selling an Alpha Wolf package with a different, I think it's called a muskrat at this point, different secondary blade. And those are running like between $260 and $280 online, which I would imagine is what they sold this package for. And it's near mint, no box, but it's not going to be like $270. How about $175 for the total package, plus 20 each to sharpen. That's the KOA for Knives of Alaska Alpha Wolf / Cub Bear combo. Okay, you guys ready for a little run of traditional slip joint pocket knives? I know I am. And I believe every single one of these is going to come to you from Titusville, PA. The first one is not a Great Eastern cutlery knife. Check this out. This is a Queen Cutlery Classic, USA made premium pocket knife. This is a dealer exclusive, packaged and sold by Frank's Classic Knives. Okay. It comes with a certificate of authenticity. It is the Big Congress, 50 pieces in this run. D2 steel blades, winter bottom bone handles. These were produced January 31st, 2013. And Frank has signed the card. Comes in a nice little cloth pouch. Not a belt sheath, just a pouch. And here is the knife. And you've heard me say it. If you've heard me say it once, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. Queen's Big Congress is the coolest Big Congress ever made. And look at this winter bottom bone. They knocked it out of the park. Winter bottom bone, for those of you who don't know, is cow bone that came from, and originally came from a specific place, and it lent itself well to machining to look like stag antler. And man, look at that. A lot of the later years winter bottom bone just looks like bad jig bone. This stuff looks awesome. The Big Congress is 4 inches in closed length, and you have 2 sets of main sheep's foot. Oh, come on, where's my neck? Secondary pen. I think you even got a little picture of Frank on that pen blade. Flip it over, you have a main sheep's foot and a secondary pen. Pull weight on this is about 7. It's pretty good for Queen, walk and talk. Just not really any blade wobble at half stop. Yeah, all the blades seem to nestle well. We're going to call this near mint to like new in tube. Your price, $140. $140. If you want my edge on all 4 of those blades, it's $185. Next day sharpening is available if it's one of the first 6 tonight. That is the Queen Big Congress. Next up, we're going across town from the east side of Titusville to the west to Great Eastern Cutlery. This is one of their Tidioute Cutlery Classic Pocket Knives, model 291319. It's the number 29 Stockyard Whittler. And possibly my favorite acrylic ever, the grits with butter and molasses. I think the 29 is a pretty cool knife. There are your grits and molasses covers. Hot dog shield, polished bolsters. It's essentially, I guess it's a Whittler even though it's not a split back, but we got a beautiful clip point main. About a 7 pull. Perfect walk and talk. Secondary sheep's foot. And then the third implement is a long punch. Everything lines up nicely. Just some carry rubs on the nickel silver bolsters. We're going to call it near mint in tube. Your price on this one, $125. $125 like it is. $150 for me to sharpen both blades. Next day sharpening available if it's one of the first 6. About 3 weeks if not. That's the GEC Tidioute number 29 Stockyard Whittler. Next up, oh boy. Oh boy. Next up we have A number 35 double-end harness jack, the Drover, and this was the 2016 Blade Forums knife, designed by Charlie Way North Campagna. And there's his tube label if you'd like to read it. It is the model 352216 in burnt orange worm groove bone. Check out the covers. The straight bar shield, lined nickel silver bolsters, main spear point blades, satin finished. And I think, yep, you have a Blade Forums tang stamp. This is a cam tang knife, about 6.5 on the pull, nice walk and talk. Then your secondary implement is that punch. We're going to say near mint in tube. Your price on this one, $225, guys. $225, like it is. $240 with an Apostle P edge. That is the GEC number 35 Blade Forums harness jack. Next up, check this one out. From Great Eastern Cutlery's Tidioute cutlery line, we have a number 62 Maverick, model 621312 in autumn leaf clawed bone. Notice number 13. Inside the tube, we have a Christine Tucker signed certificate of authenticity. Number 13 of 25 is this one. And man, what a beauty. The truly sway-backed 62 Congress frame with those long nickel silver bolsters. Number 13 engraved in the top one. Corset shield. I love the corset shield. And the blade set, even though it's a Congress frame, it's just got 3 blades. On half stops. Main clip point. About a 6.5 pull. Perfect walk and talk. Secondary Warncliffe, not a sheep's foot. And then a little stubby spay. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a pen, not a spay. Duh. What a beauty, and look at that clawed bone. Great color. Great color. Let's see, condition on this near mint in tube. It is number 13 of 25. I think it's a buy at this price, guys. 180, 180, and 215 for me to sharpen all 3 blades. Next day sharpening is available if it's one of the first 6. That's the GEC Tidioute number 62 Maverick. Next up, another one from Great Eastern. This one from the Northfield Unexcelled Premium Pocket Knives line. A number 661317 calf roper in blue camel bone. Guys, I didn't know what this was when I took it out of the tube until I read the label on the end cap. It's blue camel bone, but look how resistant to the dye that camel bone was. That is cool. Cloud shield, lined and pinched bolsters, polished blades, cam tangs. Now the Northfield etch is pretty light. It makes me wonder if it hasn't been flitzed just a little bit. Cam tangs, 6 pull, nice walk and talk for a cam tang GEC. Sheep's foot in the middle, and the short stubby spay. Very slight rub between the spay and the sheep. Okay. Near mint in tube. Your price on this one, man, that camel bone's got some character. Your price $140, $140, and $175 for me to sharpen all 3 blades. That's in your inventory as GEC Northfield number 66 calf roper. Next up, who knows what my favorite Great Eastern Cutlery pattern of all time is? Who knows? Who knows? Well, we've got one, and it's a Northfield. Yep. That's a 78 American Jack, number 782217 in golden brown, jigged bone. And I want you to look closely at the jigging on this knife. It's almost checkering. Look at that. You know, it's their coarse jigging, but then they've turned it and done it again. Look at that. Oh. Double lined bolster, plain end cap, main spear polished. Now, most of you guys know when they ran the spear points in 17, they didn't have as strong a pull as the early clip point 78s, but it's stout. I'm going to call it an 8. It's a thunker. And that big usable pen blade. Everything lines up beautifully. Condition is near mint in tube. By the way, 3 3/4 inches is your closed length. Your price on this one, $1.50, $150, guys. Like it is, $175 for me to sharpen both blades. Next day sharpening is available if it's one of the first 6. That's the GEC Northfield number 78 American Jack. Okay, time for our final slip joint in tonight's sale. And this is a beaut. Comes in the big long tube. It's the Northfield Unexcelled Yellow Rose. A number 9761119. I still think that is a misprint. I think there are too many ones, but it's just me. In smooth yellow rose bone. It's the 97 Allegheny with button. 4 3/4 inches of Coke bottle beauty with that smooth yellow bone and the yellow rose shield and this extremely complicated clip point blade. Saber ground, long pull, cut swedge with forward nail neck, yellow rose etch. Now this has got a little rubbing. It's not from the frame of the knife. It's just from use. Right at that shoulder. A little bit of edge wear. Nice thunk. About, I'm going to call it a 6 pull from the forward neck, a 6.5 from the long pull. Physics, boys. Condition on this one is near mint in tube with button. Your price, $95, and the centering is beautiful. $95 like it is, $115 with an Apostle P edge. Next day sharpening available if it's one of the first 6. Next up, I teased you about this. I did. It comes in a Life Sharp box, not the original box, but it does come with its original nylon belt sheath that can be either vertical or horizontal. Inside, oh, look at that. I got to turn the page. Inside comes some beautifully machined and satin finished titanium handles. Inside the handles comes this. That is 4 1/8 inches of 154 cm. This is the Benchmade model 42 Balisong, and it has been in a safe its entire life. Notice the butterfly. Balisong, old butterfly. I don't know, probably what, 2000-ish vintage? Beautiful spring latch. I just love the way. Yep. There's your handle play. Very standard. I'm going to call it like new. Warranty box noted. Okay. That's the Benchmade 42. Your price, they ain't cheap, boys. Like it is, $570, shipped priority mail. With my edge on it, $590. That's the Benchmade Model 42. Let's put it back home in its little sheath. Next up, man, this thing is unobtainium. I couldn't find one anywhere else but here. From Giant Mouse, that's Jesper Voxness and Jens Anso. We have a GM4. I could not find one, guys. Maybe you can, but I couldn't. This is kind of a small, it is definitely a mouse. About 4 inches of blade. And the only wear on this knife you're going to see, just a little carry wear on that blue titanium clip, just some burnishing on the corners. Inside the handle comes a 2 5/8 inch, almost a leaf-shaped blade and Bowler M390. It is a steel inserted titanium frame lock, nice early lockup and rock solid. Centering it right down the middle. Flipping action on that nice stubby flipper is perfect. Big detent. So condition is going to be near mint in box. Man, I saw some there was one little dealer, Country something knives, that had one of these for sale for like $379. He might die with that, I don't know. Your price on this one? $250, $250, then $275 with an ApostleP edge. That is the Giant Mouse GM4. Next up, this is kind of a cool knife. Yes, it's made in China. Yes, it's a real steel. Okay, but it's kind of a cool knife. Very pretty knife. If you were trying to get somebody a Christmas present who wasn't into knives but you wanted them to get into knives, this would be a great start. It's the Real Steel H7 Special Edition. So it's a steel-lined lockback with beautifully milled and steel blue anodized aluminum scales. Super smooth lockback action on that spear point blade. Nice stone lock. 3 9/16 inches of blade. 4 3/4 inches of handle. Lockup is rock solid. Action is ultra smooth. Centering is right down the middle. And I sold one of these a few weeks ago, and I did not know what this thing was over here. Check this out. You pull the lanyard, and it moves this little bolt back, and it keeps you from disengaging the lockback. You can push in a little bit, but not enough to disengage the lock. And you push it forward. So if you were, out using this knife hard, and you were concerned that because that lock mechanism or the lock release is right at the peak of that spine, if you were concerned you might collapse it by mistake, you just pull that lanyard out, and now it probably won't even open either. Yeah. How about that? Neat. Condition on this, like new in the box. You can buy these new at your favorite online retailer. I think the best price I found was like $63 on Amazon. Or you can just buy this one, shipped to you, priority mail, like new in the box, $50, 50. 70 with an ApostleP edge. That's the Real Steel H7 Special Edition. Next up, this one ain't gonna last long. From Spyderco, Golden, Colorado, USA, Earth, we have a Manix 2 Brown M390. Yep, we do. Spyderco calls it brown. Some people might call it flat dark earth. But it's the classic, the Manix 2. Perfect action, perfect lockup, perfect centering. Bowler M390, and I think this is a completely unmolested blade. Yeah. Absolutely like new in the box. I don't think you can buy one new, boys. Don't think you can. You can buy this one, however, for $190. 190. 215 with an Apostle P edge. Like new inbox. Perfect example. Spyderco. Mannix 2. BRN M390 in your inventory. Don't wait on that one. Okay. To finish tonight's sale, we've got 6 knives from custom knife maker Frank Velez, Carolina way. Steel sharp knives. You can call him, you can message him on Facebook, you can email him at Yahoo. The first knife we have up tonight is the Steel Sharp EDC cleaver. The blade steel is made from a Farrier rasp. It's got 1/8 inch brass pins, indigo dyed laminated wood scales, and a black Kydex sheath. There is your horizontal carry black Kydex. Nice little thumb break. Your Farrier rasp blade, which is kind of convex saber ground with a V ground edge. And Frank does a pretty nice job on his edges, I got to say. Blade length is 2 7/8 inches. The handle is 3 7/8. How is it in the hand? It's really nice. I mean, it's really nice. Kind of a chunk. I'm going to say 5/32 on the stock thickness. Yep. Your price on that little package, brand new from the maker. Totally handmade knife, guys. $125. $125 like it is. I can never get this to go. Oh, there we go. That's the way to do it. $125 like it is. $145 sharpened. That's the Steel Sharp EDC cleaver. Next up, another Steel Sharp knife by Frank Velez. This is, I'm calling it the EDC sheep's foot, the Steel Sharp EDC sheep's foot. Also made from a Farrier rasp. This one only 1/8 of an inch. It's got brass pins, Brazilian cherry handle, black Kydex sheath, and a sheep's foot style blade. Again, the horizontal carry, Kydex sheath, little thummy. This one's got a 2 3/4 inches blade made from a Farrier rasp. Look at that Brazilian cherry. Nicely book matched, isn't it? Yeah, look at that. Little sub hilt. That is good in the hand, guys. It really, really is. And again, how's Frank's edge? Pretty good. So 2 3/4 of blade, 4 inches of handle, Farrier rasp blade, Brazilian cherry handle. New from the maker with the Kydex sheath. There we go. Your price on this one, $110. $110 and $130 if you like it with an Apostle P edge. That is the Steel Sharp EDC sheep's foot. Next up, we have another Steel Sharp knife by Frank Velez. This one I'm calling the Steel Sharp Harpoon Clip. Steel Sharp Harpoon Clip. Blade 1095 stone washed with a little acid treatment. Toxic green G10 handle with white liners and a red liner. And a black Kydex. I didn't see a red liner. Well, it does it. Only on one side, maybe? Nope, it's on both sides. It's a little skinny red liner. There is your blade. Look at that cutie. 1095. It looks like it might be 1/8 inch stock, but it's kind of tapered as we get to the blade. With a lot of distal taper starting from way back here. Blade length 3 3/8, handle 4 1/8. A little bit of a hafting snafu right here. Those red liners are super thin. You can barely see them. Handle very comfortable in hand. Beautiful little thumb ramp. The Kydex sheath is horizontal carry. A little bit of rattle, but nicely made. New from the maker. Your price on this one is going to be $125. $125 like it is. Completely brand new handmade knife. $145 with an Apostle P edge. That's the steel sharp harpoon clip. Pay attention to that inventory description, harpoon clip, because the next knife is going to be very similar, but it's going to have a slightly different name. And the next knife is a steel sharp knife by Frank Velez. Now this is going to be in your inventory as steel sharp sawmill harpoon. Why? Because the blade is made from a carbon steel acid etched old sawmill blade. It's got 1/4 inch brass pins, a Brazilian cherry handle, a black kydex sheath, and a harpoon style blade. Yes, it does. This is a saber ground harpoon, and Frank, when he ground this for a knife, he left some of the original stamping from that sawmill blade. Blade length on this one is 3 1/4. Handle is 4 1/16. And man, look at that Brazilian cherry. Nice in the hand. Got cross draw kydex action, or not cross draw, horizontal carry. Fits nicely, does have a little rattle. It's brand new from the maker. Your price on this one is going to be $125, $125, and then $145 with an Apostle P edge. Brand new from the maker, the steel sharp sawmill harpoon. Next up, it's a Nuddin from Steel Sharp Knives by Frank Velez. We're calling this one the Steel Sharp Rock Spear Point because it has a 1095 blade with an acid etch, 1/8 inch stock, and a rock pattern. Brass pins, copper tube for the lanyard, black canvas micarta scales, and black kydex sheath. Let's just take a look. There's your kydex, horizontal carry. Little thumb break. Blade's a little oily, that's how Frank rolls. Look at that, saber ground spear point with that milled rock pattern or ground rock pattern. Blade length is 3 7/16. Handle is 4 1/16. Got sort of an organically curved profile, but then beautifully chamfered facets. Gives it kind of a coffin thing. Nice jimping in the spine, really dark acid wash. Yeah, beautiful knife. And then again, Frank kills it on that edge. There we go. No rattle on that one. That is the Steel Sharp Rock Spear Point. Your price, $135. Brand new from the maker, shipped priority mail. If you'd like my edge on it, $155. Next day sharpening available if it's one of the first 6. And the last knife in the sale is another one from Steel Sharp Knives by Frank Velez. We're calling this one the Steel Sharp Spear Point Utility. It has a blade of carbon steel, probably 1095 or something, acid etched very deeply. 3/16 brass pins, black canvas micarta handle, and a black kydex sheath. This is a big boy. It's a big boy. And this kydex sheath is going to be vertical carry with a spring belt clip. Here's the knife. A well-oiled, acid-washed. Man, I was going to say that's a saber grind, but it's really more of a mid-height convex grind than with a V-ground edge. Blade length is 4 9/16. Handle is 5 3/4, guys. This is like Paul Bunyan's knife. There's your black canvas micarta. It is brand new from the maker. Your price is $150, shipped priority mail. $170 if you like it with an Apostle P edge. That is the Steel Sharp Spear Point Utility by Frank Velez. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of another weekly knife sale on the Apostle P channel. Hope you enjoyed it. Get your Christmas shopping done. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Remember, the word is sharp, and it's only 43 days till Christmas-ish. Talk to you soon.